Hey guys, this is Keto Dicky. If you cannot tell, we are right in Mexico in the World Showcase, and I am heading into one of my absolute favorite restaurants, San Angel Inn, and I already know, yes, I can keto. This is one of my favorite restaurants, so let's head inside. I did actually score a seat by the water. Ooh. I get to see people. Ooh, there goes people. There they go. All right. More people. Alright guys, as I have already said, this is one of my favorite restaurants. This table is rocking. I'm going to set it on fire with this little lantern over here. But other than that, everything is good. I am so excited. Is this my booze coming?
Let's go ahead and grab your margarita right here.
Thank you. Okay, so this is my favorite restaurant. One of my favorite restaurants at Epcot. Probably my favorite restaurant at Epcot. I mean, I haven't eaten at all of them, but of the ones I've eaten at, I love this place. I love the atmosphere. I love the food. I love the. I'm sorry, there's something, I don't know where that came from. And I love the fact that they have pork rinds. That's right. There are pork rinds. This is the only restaurant. There are 4 restaurants, quick service, everything in Mexico at Epcot, and only one serves pork rinds. I wish they were outside as well. I have smuggled in my own pork rinds to get guacamole at the quick service before, but it would be awesome if they had those elsewhere. But I do have pork rinds. I also got a margarita. This is another thing you can't get outside of here. That's keto friendly. If margaritas are keto friendly. I haven't checked really the tequila stats for carbs and everything, but I get it made. You can get it made custom only at Cava del Tequila and at at the restaurants. So you can have the agave sweetener left off, which is pretty much essential if you are going to have this as keto. It's not sweetened. Let me try this and decide if it needs a sweetener slipped in. I think I'm okay without a sweetener. Sometimes I end up dropping a little stevia in there, but not always. I think it's okay, at least for now. So yeah, you can get this at Cava del Tequila, or you can get it at the restaurants. A classic margarita at the restaurant is $15. Cava del Tequila is $20. So if you're concerned about pricing, that is a little bit of a warning there. There are different prices. It's a little bit cheaper at the restaurant. Now let's just take a moment to look at these pork rinds. I do love these pork rinds. I love the fact that they have pork rinds. They do come with a little I want to say he called it a chili sauce. It's a hot sauce just lightly drizzled across the top. So there is some heat to this. He warned me and gave me the option to leave it off, but I love it, so I already knew I was good with that. You could probably substitute the guacamole for other things. I didn't ask about it, but that's a possibility if you'd like queso or salsa. I've never really asked a lot of questions about the salsa, if that has sugar added or not, but something to check on. I might ask about that later. One thing I will say, this restaurant is really dark. I could see the food better looking through the camera, where it's like enhancing the lighting, than I can actually see the food at the restaurant. So that's something to be aware of. I just love watching the people in the boats. Another thing, before this I did ride 3 Caballeros 3 or 4 times in a row. I don't even know, I stopped paying attention. I was really hot, I couldn't figure out what to do to kill time. Rode it twice, I think I rode it twice. Really short wait, which is why I got on it like the second time just right away, because I had come in the building. There was no wait the first time. There was about a 5-minute wait the second time. Third time I think I was down to no wait again. But it was like, there was a 10-minute wait to check into the restaurant. It wasn't quite ready to open. So I did go ahead and ride it that third time. Got out, checked into the restaurant 20 minutes early, and was seated fairly quickly. Now that was right when the restaurant opened, so I don't know if it's going to be that easy to get in immediately all the time, but it definitely was for me, and I got this awesome seed, and I just put my thumb in chili sauce, so probably at some point today I will rub my eyes and they will burn and I will not know why. My waiter is confirming. Generally, I order the same thing here all the time, and I've never asked if it has a sugar rub on it. So just to see if we're doing clean keto, I did send him back to check on that to make sure there's no hidden sugars in the meal that I want. That is the taco stirrima. It's my favorite. Oh, I love that. I love that entree. They have it at the other restaurant as well, I believe, or at least they serve some sort of steak with a little skillet option, just like it. So I'm not sure it's the same thing, but at the other restaurant, the fancier one, they have, I think, the same dish. My brother ordered it over Christmas, and he was full, and he didn't eat it all, and I'm like, oh, I'll finish that. Absolutely love that dish. So hopefully it doesn't have any hidden sugars. I think by the end of this, I'm going to have all my fingers in hot sauce. I'm a huge high maintenance order person, apparently. I'm totally like Sally when Harry met Sally. That is a reference for old people, I'm aware. Oh, but if you haven't watched it, watch it. It's okay, children can watch, well, not children can watch that movie, but people who are younger may hate that movie. I don't know, they didn't have cell phones in it, so. One thing that should be discussed about this margarita, oh goodness, I swear I'm going to take out this little like candle, it's just going to pour right over me and set me on fire. So it's about 11:30 in the morning. I am having a margarita. And I have not had anything to eat so far this morning, so this is the first meal of the day. Probably should have postponed this to dessert or maybe a to-go cup, but no, I didn't do that. So here's to possibly a very adventurous day of stumbling around, embarrassing myself at Epcot. Alright, this is a rocking table, if you can't tell. Just look at that drink every time I press my elbows on the table. You would think that would teach me not to press my elbows on the table, but no. No, that is not the lesson being learned here. So probably if you've watched a couple of these, you have now noticed that I did put back in my nose ring. I don't know how long I've had that. I mean, over 10 years. Probably in my 20s, so over 20 years. But when I did start playing the Jolly Old Elf, I took out all my jewelry and for the most part didn't always put it back in after the holiday season. So I don't know how long it had been since I wore the piercings, but I did get in the mood the other day, put this back in. And I am going to head out on Tuesday probably to a place with some local place for piercings and look at getting all of my earrings reinserted. Most of the holes are still open, or all of the holes are still open, I'm not completely sure, but they're just, I cannot get them in on my own. The holes are too small for actual, like, I don't know what the gauge of my jewelry is, but it's just I couldn't get them back through. So I could get some small posted earrings back in, but those aren't really what I want in there. They're hard to sleep in, so I'm gonna go and see if I can get a piercer to put those in for me. So. But I am enjoying this margarita. It's pretty good. It does not need sweetening. I do stop by here occasionally, either when I'm eating here or just stop by Casa del Tequila and order a margarita. And, you know, they are mixed there. You know, it's not a pre-mix thing. Outside are pre-mixes, which means you can't get them because they have sugar in them. But the restaurants do make margaritas. The margaritas are made here, so you can get them without the agave. Oh my goodness, this looks absolutely delicious. I'm gonna move this slice of, I'm just gonna squeeze this slice of lime, aren't I? Is that what we do? Do we squeeze this lime over this? I wish this had come when I had my guacamole. Honestly, it could have had more lime juice in it. I would have loved it a little bit limier. I'm just gonna top it off with a little squeeze in there. Ooh, just put all the lime everywhere. I love lime. Alright, so now just a moment of licking my fingers with lime on them. Alright, now this does have just a couple of plantains on it. That is cheese on top of there. Few slices of plantain. It's a very sugary fruit. But kind of like a banana. Some server told me that it did not have the same kind of carbs a banana does. That was not at all accurate. I looked it up afterwards and thank goodness I did. She was like, no, they're not as ripe. The sugar hasn't like really produced. She almost had me sold on it, but I Googled and that was totally mistaken. So, but there's just a couple of slices of this, so I definitely will be eating those. Just as a little bit of a treat and a dessert. This does have a little bit of cilantro on it, which I absolutely despise. I don't have as bad of a... I'm one of those people that taste it as... taste it as it is dish soap. I mean, really is what it tastes like to me, or at least used to really badly. It has improved. I don't have as much problem with it now as I used to, but that is something to be aware of. There is a green salsa that comes with this. I don't know if that has any sugar with it or not. I didn't ask, but I will check on that if he comes back by. Ooh, it's got the weekly cheese happening. This is the steak tacos, or the tacos de ribeye. So it's ribeye. I have them hold for fajitas, but it's peppers. I don't remember what peppers, bacon, ribeye, and cheese, kind of all melty together in this little skillet. I know on a lot of these reviews I do eat a lot of red meat. On my regular diet, 1 meal a day is red meat. I have a hamburger for lunch. Normally I have a chicken salad for dinner. I have bacon and eggs for breakfast. But I know every time I do food reviews, it seems I order steak. Regardless of the time of day, and I realize that, but it's also I'm eating out. So of course I tend to eat differently when I eat out than I eat at home. But I will start trying some more chicken dishes more faithfully. But just know, I don't always eat steak every meal every time. I don't eat red meat for every meal every day. But, oh, this is so good. This normally comes with tortilla shells, flour shells for your, I don't know if they're flour or corn, actually. I think they're corn shells, soft corn shells. But I have them hold those because I'm avoiding the carbs. But, oh, this right out of the skillet is just delicious. Okay, I was just breathing into this, really enjoying this light meal and what I'm eating. I think I also feel the margarita kick again. I should not drink on an empty stomach. I never have a bread base, but at least I can have a food base. My first Guardians of the Galaxy queue, the lightning lane is at like 1:20. It's almost noon, so I have like an hour and 20 minutes before I get in the line. But I hear they're already handing out barf bags for people who haven't been drinking their way around the world. So this might go badly. Who knows? Someone waved. And then they said thank you. I'm like, I live for people waving. I live for sitting by the water. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, sadly, I'm out of food. So sad. I will say I don't think this is the best I've ever had here. I order this all the time when I am eating here. It is my absolute favorite. I don't think today is as cheesy wonderful as it normally is. Now I am going to eat these plantains. Again, they are not necessarily clean keto. They're pretty sugary, but it looks like I've got 3 of them. And if you aren't used to eating sweet foods or don't eat a lot of real dessert foods or sugar dessert foods, these are like a little magical dessert on their own. They do have, I believe it's a cheese on top of them, so they've got a hint of savory or something cutting the sweetness, which also makes really nice if you're not used to eating sweet desserts. They aren't overly sweet, but they are just so sweet and delicious. And I have 3 slices of plantain, so it's as much part of a sweet garnish as it is. It's not really, I wouldn't say it goes as far as being the side to the dish. It's more of an accent to the dish, and it finishes it off nicely in a restaurant where or at a time where if you're eating keto, there aren't a lot of dessert options. Mostly there are no dessert options. I like to think of the idea the first time I noticed they had pork rinds and guacamole here, I ordered them on my birthday as a dessert. This time I did do them as an appetizer, but because they are an appetizer, but that time I kind of had them to finish all the meal because there just aren't a lot of sweet dessert options for keto. There are really none anywhere, but finishing it off with these 3 plantains, even though they're not the most clean keto or they're kind of pushing up your carbs, they do make a nice dessert for you. Okay, I don't know if it's the tequila or if there's something else in this meal, but something is affecting my allergies. I have a lot of allergies for nature. Not as many for food, but a lot of nature allergies. And I know I'm getting stopped up right now. I've realized I have a problem with beer. I'm assuming that's the wheat. So there may be something in the tequila. Or, maybe agave? I mean, tequila's made from agave, so I don't know if I'm allergic to that, but I am getting stopped up. So something is affecting my nature allergies, I imagine. Yeah, I'm starting to have a nasal run / congestion happening, so I've realized I had to give up beer lately because it's gotten really bad. I might not be able to do tequila either, which is kind of sad. That leaves me with wine and vodka. So, not that I'm all that upset about wine and vodka still being there, so. This is from the San Angel Inn. I am done eating. My server did hook me up with a to-go water, which I am grateful for. Food-wise, the drink was $15. The guacamole was $13, and the entree was $30. This restaurant is eligible for a pass holder discount, so I got that removed from there. So I'm just waiting for him to come back and take the check. As far as this restaurant, atmosphere, I give it a 9 out of 10. As I've said, this is my favorite Epcot restaurant, or at least the one I am aware of. This is my favorite. I absolutely love the atmosphere here. I think it's great for kids. I think it's great for family. It's a nighttime Mexico scene with the pyramid behind you. If you're lucky enough to be right against the water, you can see the Fiesta Tour, the Grand Fiesta Tour boats going by as they start off their attractions. So it's beautiful. I absolutely love the theming here. It's one of my favorites. So for theming, I give it a 9 out of 10. I think it's just awesome. The food, it's not the best Mexican I've ever had, but it's not terrible by any imagination, or any, it's not terrible by any stretch of the imagination, I guess. The food I had, generally the tacos de ribeye, I eat every time I come here, or most every time I come here. I think it's one of the best. It was a little off today, not terrible, but not as creamy delicious as it normally is. Also, my waiter or server, Enrique, I asked about sugar on the green salsa, just to be sure, and he came back and he's like, according to the chef, the only thing you really need to stay away from hidden sugars or sugar in an ingredient is the mole sauce. So I asked about one particular dish, and he did check in for me and just made sure everything pretty much here is a safe bet as far as the sauces, the foods, except the mole sauce that does have added sugar. So that one you'll want to think about before having. I know I do sometimes have a mole sauce on something, but that's the only thing they are claiming has sugar added. So I was very grateful. That was at the end of the meal, and he found it out for me. So I'm grateful. Price point, it's a sit-down menu at Disney. Theoretically, I'm eating a good cut of meat with ribeye, so it was $30 for that entree, but theme park, sit-down menu, not excessively expensive. It's not like the Price Fix menus or anything like that. So pricing, standard for theme park.
I want to go back and
food,
learn a little bit more. It was always fun.
Sometimes it's really good, sometimes it's just average. And theming, again, perfect. Great for kids. Great for, I would say you could come here. You might as well come here as an adult. It's worth coming to. It's definitely, if you want to eat in restaurant, it's at Epcot. It's my favorite so far. And I think it always will be. I mean, just the atmosphere wins for me. So consider coming here if you can score a reservation. They do go fairly quickly. I was excited to get this one. This is the first time I've had one since, I want to say my birthday, which is in October.
We have quesadillas over
here. We are in June. like, I don't always come to Epcot, so it's not like I'm here every week
That's what I was
or
gonna say.
whatever, but and it does look like they are becoming more readily available, at least to me, as we head into the summer. It keeps popping
Anything else I
up,
can get for you?
but
Alright.
you know, I will be trying other restaurants. Alright, so that is my keto review. I hope you have enjoyed it. I know I enjoyed my meal, so thank you for joining me. If you enjoyed it, please consider giving it a thumbs up, and until next time, see you down the road.